Hello and welcome to the second instalment of the Scottish Football VAR Review, where once again we'll dissect some of the biggest VAR decisions across the country, listen to the VAR audio and get some insight from the Scottish FA's head of referees, Willie Collum, who joins us once again. Let's dive straight in, Willie, with a much discussed incident at Rugby Park. It's a penalty to Celtic after a handball in the box.
Big decision. Big decision.
Let me check with the ball strikes, please.
Off his leg onto his own arm, and I don't know where it hits him. Wait now.
Delay then.
Checking potential penalty kick.
That's
okay,
first
pal.
touch, yeah.
Okay, show me behind.
Doctor, come and help him.
Okay, so I need to see. Go slow for me. Point of contact for me, please.
So the first point.
Pause point of contact.
Is here and then up to here.
Okay, so what I now need to see is that arm extended from the body. Ross, have a look at this and tell me what you think, please.
Okay, so the arm's pinned in, but that forearm is out slightly. Would it come off?
It does come off the Kilmarnock player, off the defender, but the hand is there from the body.
Defender onto an arm.
Bit of it, let's think about it.
Yeah.
Outstretched from the body and it's up at shoulder height.
As well. Just away from the body, yep.
Show me it, please.
The high motion camera. Yep.
Yeah. John, I'm going to recommend an on-field review for a potential penalty kick. Make the TV signal and come over, please. I'm checking APP as you do it. So, John, when you come, you will see that it comes off the Kilmarnock captain onto the arm, but the arm is up at shoulder height and away from the body. And there's nothing else in the APP. I'll show you this angle, and then behind the goal are your best two.
I can't really see it, mate.
Okay, show from behind it.
And we'll pause it point of contact for you as well. Pause point of contact.
Yeah. Okay.
Other angle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Agreed. Penalty kick and no yellow card.
Okay, Willie, so much been said about this incident already, so I think everyone's keen to hear what you made of it.
So it's a really debatable incident, this. Firstly, the referee, we can understand his position in the field. It's very difficult to gauge this, especially when it's so close, and also you take into account the deflection as well. The big thing for the VAR here is about the arm being up. For us, Lewis Mayo here, the arm is definitely up. It's unnatural. It's an expected ball because there's a shot coming, but that changes after it deflects from Robbie Dees onto the arm then. If the shot goes direct here and hits Lewis Mayo in that position, there's no deflection, it's 100% a penalty kick. Even in this situation with the deflection, in law, you can justify this penalty kick because of the body shape, because of the arm. Because the law doesn't talk about deflection, doesn't talk about close proximity. These are guidance that's issued rather than the law just talks about an unnatural position and you then run the risk as a player then that being penalised. However, Gordon, I've said from day one, we've spoken about it a lot, is about stakeholders' views. And really pretty much nobody accepted this as a penalty. We've had good discussions with our stakeholders in terms of the KMI panel. You know, we've had good discussions with the clubs as well, also players. And the feeling is that this should not be punished going forward. So we want to recalibrate in terms of this decision, that if it's such close proximity and it's deflected, even if the arm's in this position, then we don't punish it. But there's a slight caveat to that, and that is two key words: impact, consequence. You know, if we put this in the goal line, this same scenario, and the ball's going into the net, then it changes everything altogether. So we're asking our referees and our VARs to also judge what's the impact and consequence here of the action. But moving forward, if this exact same decision happened again, we do not want to award the penalty kick.
Why, in this instance, does the deflection off a teammate not provide mitigation though? Because that seems to be the bit that people had the problem with. You always hear that phrase, what's he meant to do? I mean, it deflects off a teammate. It's the smallest possible distance. Why is that not enough under law to make it not a penalty?
So before we recalibrate, there's a couple of things here that the VAR's definitely got to consider. It's a shot at goal. It's a shot at goal. That's very, very important here in this scenario as well. Yep, the deflection is at close range, but look at the position of the Kilmarnock player's arm. We'll see another clip where there's a similar position of the arm later in terms of Falkirk Hibs, and that is punishable. But to repeat again, we want to change it because people don't want a penalty for this.
Well, on that, it feels like part of this debate came because the Kilmarnock manager, Stuart Kettlewell, said this went against what he was told or the impression he was under from your pre-season guidance. He felt that any deflection off a teammate meant that it wouldn't be a penalty. Could you maybe clear up what's happened there? Is that a breakdown in communication? Why was he under that impression?
We showed a clip pre-season to the clubs. We also showed it to the media. Dundee, Ross County. And I think where the confusion comes...
So this is last season?
Yeah, last season. But we showed this pre-season and said again we wanted to change. We didn't want a penalty here. If you remember in the VAR review show last season, I said that in law this decision could be supported. But here perhaps where the confusions come is about impact and consequence, because that was two key words we used in our pre-season guidelines. And when you look at the Kilmarnock Celtic clip, there is a definite debate there about zero impact, zero consequence. So understand that. But they're also two very different scenarios. You know, one, the player is jumping, headed from the back from a player who's not looking at the ball, and the other, a direct shot at goal.
OK, whilst we're on the topic, let's take a look at another one from the most recent match day in the Scottish Premiership at St Mirren at Rugby Park.
Now, mutual hold, defender head, I'm happy, continue. Arms in front of the body. Don't see where it hits on Watson, guys.
Let me see the first one, Gary, take live.
Okay, I've
got it here.
Live. Two possible handballs.
Right, the first one is very close proximity. Tell me delay. Yep.
Delay, Nick. Delay.
Guys, captain only.
Gary, for me, that one there.
Adam is just keep them away.
Natural position, very close proximity.
He's a second, Lewis, pal.
You agree?
Yeah.
Right, let me see the second one.
You're right, David.
Okay.
I'll be second. You okay, David? Do you need doctor? No. Stay a second. Guys, the first one, I think it hits an arm, but I think it's closer in front of the body in that justifiable position. Second one, I don't see where it hits on Watson.
One more time.
So check it, mate, aye.
Good. Nick, it's Andrew, confirming on-field decision of play on. Play on. The first one, as you say, is very close proximity, natural position. Second one hits the player square in the face. Check complete.
Talk us through this. How does this compare to some of the others we've seen?
So this for us is a good decision. I know it was well debated, you know, and understand that because the arm is up and you could argue the arm is out, but this is very close proximity. And also, even before it's headed by the St Mirren player, Robbie D's arm is in that position. You know, if his arm is up here, even from a short distance, it's a different scenario. You know, it's above shoulder height, it's a problem. But for us, so close, we think it's natural for the position the player's in, trying to turn, kind of jumping, looking around. We think this is a natural body shape, and we're really pleased this hasn't been given. This is also another element to us, Gordon, about listening to our stakeholders. 2 years ago in Scotland, this would have been awarded as a penalty. I'm certain of that, okay? But this is us listening, thinking, you know, it's in the back of recent weeks as well. What does our stakeholders want here? What direction of travel do we want to take? What are the KMI telling us? What are the club's players? And this for us, I think people are more happier here without this being awarded as a penalty kick. So proximity, really important here, and the shape of the arm being natural for the body movement of the defender.
OK, let's move on and take a look at another handball incident. This one is at Easter Road, towards the end of a dramatic game. Again, it's a penalty against Dundee United and for Hibs.
Now, keeper conscious. No idea what that hits. Simon attacker head.
Look for contact somewhere.
I
need got contact here.
Keep live.
Continue.
Still got live. Okay, go.
Off defender's leg. Continue, no!
Got it from behind as well. Just coming in.
Yeah.
Side to side collision there, Jonathan.
Okay, delay. I'm still checking this potential penalty kick. Sean, what I'm seeing
Give you the
here
high
is
behind, might be clearer.
Checking,
number 5's
relax.
arm is outstretched from his body, and it clearly
Hold on.
makes contact with
Needs
the
to
arm.
be-
Can you show Sean behind the goals, please?
The low behind the goal.
The other one that we had.
Just coming through.
So I'm seeing the arm out from the body,
A yellow card!
and I'm seeing it strike the arm. Give me your thoughts.
The arm is out, so yeah, it's blocking the ball, it's making himself unnaturally bigger.
Okay, I'm going to recommend an on-field review for a potential penalty kick, so if you can make the signal and make your way across. Okay, see when he comes across, I want to show him this first, and then he can have the alternate angle if he needs something more, okay? Dan, you'll see the number 5's arm outstretched from his body, and it makes contact with the shot. got to show him the other angle
Is
as
there
well.
a different angle just to confirm point of contact?
There we go, mate.
Yes, okay.
The point of
I've got it
contact
there,
is
yeah.
definitely the arm.
So it's a shot on goal, so I'm looking at a penalty kick and a yellow card, correct? Or are we going into the goal here? No goalkeeper there.
It's ultimately it's your call there, Dan, but it is the number 5 as well, just for awareness. It is the number 5 who's already on a yellow card.
Yeah, okay, so it's going to be a penalty kick and a second yellow card because Bushiri's there and could potentially block. In fact, no, it's going to be a straight red, John, because yeah, it's going in. So you're straight red for 5 and a penalty kick. Okay, thank you. Handball.
Willie, that's an interesting one. There's a lot going on because it's a penalty given. It's a straight red card. There's an appeal. The KMI panel thought it shouldn't even have been a penalty, so take it away.
Yeah, there's lots to discuss here. I want to be very clear and upfront at the beginning. This is a clear penalty kick for us.
No doubt at all.
No doubt, no. It's a very short distance, but the arm is clearly extended from the body here and blocks the shot. There's no deflection, you know, we can't justify the player's actions here.
So is proximity not a blanket defence?
No, that's why also proximity and deflection doesn't always mean not punishable. There's also an argument here about the Dundee United goalkeeper, you know, has a slight nudge in his own player, but that's not Hibs' problem, you know, so that's up to Dundee United to deal with that. Where the big debate comes is whether this is a yellow card or a red card. In law, this is a punishable handball, but in our opinion, it's not a deliberate handball. So the only way a red card can be given here if this is deemed to be a deliberate handball. So we certainly think it's punishable, but not deliberate. So therefore, it should have been a yellow card. It would have been the player's second yellow card. But as you say, the decision was appealed and the red card was reduced to nothing.
Quite a few layers to this though, because there was an appeal against the red card and the KMI panel as well felt that shouldn't even have been a penalty. Talk us through some of those steps.
So Dundee United won this appeal, so the red card was reduced to 0. For us, just to be clear, that shows as well how separate we sit in terms of refereeing from the appeal, because for us it's a clear second yellow card, it's a clear penalty and a clear second yellow card. The KMI panel did come to a conclusion by 2 votes to 1 that it shouldn't have been a penalty, but again, that shows the independence of that panel, you know, and we're not always governed by that. But in law, we are absolutely certain this is a punishable handball, penalty kick and a second yellow card for the offending player.
Okay, another handball decision, this one at the Falkirk Stadium with the visit of Hibs.
Rocking through, better. Now, front. No impact, let's go, nothing in there. Hands are pucked right into his face.
For me, please.
Very close, his hands are within the body, Matthew. Hands are right in front of his face.
I need to see another angle here.
So you have that angle there?
Yep.
Top left.
I'm checking. Checking potential handball.
So
yep, get my comms.
Another angle to show.
60 metre.
Okay.
I should put a contact here.
Yeah.
Hands is out for the body, aye. Clearly shakes the hand, let me see.
It's going into a high traffic area, there's no deflection to mitigate it. Agree?
No. Yeah, agree. And
show me that angle.
Hands
so
are up.
60 metre.
I'm going to stop the game.
Okay.
Callum, I need you to stop the game, please stop the game. I'm going to recommend an on-field review for a potential penalty kick handball. I'll play it through.
Does it definitely hit his face first?
No. We'll play it through that the ball strikes arm
Show me
and then
the
goes on
angle.
to face. Go to the first angle for me, please.
Again?
Go frame by frame.
Remember.
So the ball strikes there and then moves left onto face. Do you want it frame by frame to show you the point of contact first?
Yeah, show me the impact, yeah, I want to see the arm.
Okay.
I know the arm's there, mate, I just want to see you hit the arm first. Right, okay, mate, right, I'm going to award a penalty kick. Alright?
Confirming penalty kick, no sanction.
Wonder what you make of this one, Willie. Again, I can feel like some of the same questions. Is proximity an issue here? Is it unexpected? Is the hand in an unnatural or unjustifiable position? How would you talk us through this one?
Let's look at a couple of scenarios here in terms of this clip. that it's close distance, it's close proximity without a doubt, but the ball is clearly expected because it's going to come into the box. You can see the shape of the Hibs player is going to play the ball. Look at the Falkirk player's arm. It's here. You know, it's not here in front of the face like the referee thinks it could be, or tucked into the body. It's here, it's separate. And this is a clearly unnatural position for us and correct to be punished. This is 100% a penalty kick for us. What I would like to talk about is when the referee goes to the monitor, there's a bit of debate, and we've coached the referees in this, and after this clip in particular, that there's a discussion about does it come off the face first? No, it doesn't. Even if it does come off the face first and onto the hand tier, this is too close in terms of deflection. We need to move away from this idea that every time the ball touches a body part and onto the hand, it's not punishable. So even if this had hit the Falkirk player and immediately onto the hand, this is a punishable handball without question because of the height the arm is. It's the hand and the arm end up almost there, you can see, above shoulder level, and this is a punishable position for us.
Are the players happy enough with this? Because I know what you say about natural, unnatural. We could probably do a full show on it, but if you're getting a ball blasted at you from a yard away, well, it's okay to put your hand here, but move it 2 inches to the right, and that's not okay. It still feels like the Falkirk player, it's just a reaction to the ball being fired at him, no?
So even when you've explained that, Gordon, think how difficult it is for the match officials with handball. You know, it's so difficult to interpret a handball. And this is not unique to Scotland. This is everywhere in the world. You know that there's difficulties with handball. So we are talking about the difference between being here and being here. I know we don't like to use still images, but if you look at that image there, what is it easier to explain a penalty kick, or is it easier to explain play on? And in my opinion, the majority of football people would say the expected decision here is a penalty kick. I've got sympathy for the referee. It's a difficult angle. If you're out here, you know, it's much easier to see, but this is a difficult decision. But for us, again, to be transparent and to be clear, this is 100% punishable.
Now, I know it becomes sport to compare incidents like for like, and I know they're not always exactly the same, but I'm quite keen to get your thoughts then on Dre right here for Dundee against Motherwell, because if that Falkirk one is a penalty, why is this not?
Okay, so for us here, you'll see some footage. This is the best angle the VAR go into a check. The ball here clearly touches the right arm, which is tucked into the body. You know, if it touches the left arm and the arm's slightly out there, you've got a bigger decision to make. But this, for us, is clearly with the arm tucked into the body. Again, we don't expect people to think this is a penalty, you know, because the player's doing everything he can to get the arm in. Touches the left arm, it's a different scenario, and that's why it's a really good VAR check, a thorough check, but completely accurate. Let's say here, Gordon, the referee did award a penalty in this scenario, this exact scenario. We would expect him to be brought to the monitor to overturn it because this is not punishable.
A busy weekend this. I feel like a lot of these incidents were on the same weekend. It's at Ibrox for the visit of Hearts and an alleged foul on the goalkeeper.
Now, defender head.
Potential foul on the keeper.
What we're doing?
I'm giving a defensive foul against the goalkeeper in the first action. Let me play. Let me play. In the first action on the goalkeeper. Right.
A minute, just stuck. I'm checking on-field decision of defensive free kick.
Let me speak to that. For the first action, as the ball came in, I felt as if the goalkeeper was impeded. I then allowed it to develop, and there was nothing in the second and third phase. And then I allowed that to check.
So the foul's against 11.
Yes.
Yeah, you can support that. Yep. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
On-field decision confirmed. Stephen, check complete.
Okay, Willie, there's a wider debate here about whether goalkeepers are a protected species. I'm sure you've heard it before. What's your assessment of this one?
So we support the on-field decision here of the foul on the goalkeeper. Gordon, you can see as the ball comes in here, the Rangers player is focused on the goalkeeper initially and then moves towards the goalkeeper. There is, you know, a hand on the chest area, then eventually a hand on the arm. It's not an offence to say if you focus away from the ball and look at somebody else, that means something needs to be punished. But referees, their antenna goes up, their awareness goes up then because the attacker is focused on the goalkeeper at this point.
Is he not worried about a big 6'3" goalkeeper about to clatter him from behind him? Is that not justifiable to look and see where the goalkeeper is?
And people might argue that. I want to agree with you, but goalkeepers should not get any special treatment. But goalkeepers are different because they can use their arms. And when you touch a goalkeeper, when you start to put your hands in their arm, and that influences their ability then to play the ball, then the likelihood is it will be punished and a foul will be given. But let's put a scenario here that the referee deems the contact not sufficient enough to punish and a goal had been awarded. This is not a decision that VAR will touch. Either way, you know, there's nothing there that we would bring the referee to the monitor to say it's wrong. Yeah. And also, if he awards a goal and says that the contact wasn't enough for him, why would we bring him to the monitor?
Is that worth bearing in mind? Because we do, understandably, I think, fall into the trap of thinking VAR's about right and wrong, and maybe it would be nice. But because the on-field decision is no goal, you're almost looking for a contradiction there. And because there's a hand on the goalkeeper, you can't find that contradiction. Is that fair?
Yep, and that's true. We need to be careful because a hand is not enough. You know, it depends what the touch is on the chest here, then onto the arm. Is that enough? But otherwise, we'd be re-refereeing the match. VAR would be re-refereeing the match. You know, come and have another look. The referee describes why he's disallowed the goal, and when you look at the footage, nothing there to disprove that. So it's correct to support the on-field decision, and we also think there's enough here to punish the contact on the goalkeeper.
There's maybe a lesson here as well in using the appropriate angles and exhausting all angles, because is there a case to say that the goalkeeper also pushes the Rangers attacker, or is that after the initial contact? Because I think from that view, it certainly does look like the goalkeeper gives him a shove. Talk us through your...
We would say that's after the initial contact. But again, if the referee had said it's a bit from both, then there would be evidence there to support that decision. But this is not a decision we would expect either way the referee to be brought to the monitor here.
I appreciate your honesty and your transparency, because it would be easy for you to say you don't want to keep comparing to different incidents because they're all unique. However, you've agreed to take a look at one from last season, and I think we'll remember this. We spoke about it at length, didn't we? Tony Watt on Jack Butland. Is that similar? Does this show that the standard is set for fouls on the goalkeeper?
So remember this incident, you know, Tony Watt, Jack Butland, you asked me the same question last year. It was run about Boxing Day, this match, and you said, you know, had the goal been given, would VAR have intervened? Absolutely not. Again, there's similar contact. It's in the shoulder area, it's in the arm area, and when you got and challenge a goalkeeper like that, if in the opinion of a referee, you prevent the goalkeeper being able to use his arms properly there, then a foul is expected. And when a foul's awarded, we don't want intervention. And the same, if a referee in this clip had said, it's not enough for me, the contact between Watt and Butland is not enough, then check complete as well, you know, if the goal had been awarded.
OK, let's stick with that same game because it was a busy afternoon at Ibrox. This is a goal by Lawrence Shanklin, but also involves an alleged handball by him in the build-up.
Slight deflection.
Potential handball.
Potential handball.
APP from where it hits halfway.
Yep.
Go. I don't think
checking on-field decision of goal.
So. I'll get checked, yes.
Okay.
I know, but I don't think so.
This is,
I think it's in the arm, in a natural position.
Okay, show me from the main or the tight.
Yep.
Show me it again.
I have tight as well.
Yeah, it comes off his upper arm down onto his lower arm. Completely accidental. Okay, cleared for me. Okay, I'm going to confirm the goal. On-field decision confirmed. Stephen, check complete.
Okay, accidental was the word used. We heard it very clearly. Does that justify it for you? What is a punishable handball? We'll maybe get to the fact that Lawrence Shanklin is the goal scorer in a second, but first of all, should that have been brought back?
Yes, in our opinion, this is clearly in the attacking phase of play and should have been brought back. I don't think it is a deliberate handball. I think the VAR is correct in their assessment with that.
Because they rarely are, to be fair.
Yeah,
is that not quite a troubling word for us to use?
Agreed, because what we need to talk about here is it a punishable handball? You know, we've looked at several handball clips today and we would agree that the majority of them are not deliberate handballs, but they're punishable. And for us, Lawrence Shanklin's arm is too far out here. This is also a good clip to illustrate there's a deflection onto the arm. You know, you could argue, does it come from the body or does it come from the top of the shoulder onto the arm? So that should help people understand we're saying this is punishable, but it's a deflection. But in our opinion, there's enough, the arm is out far enough from the body here for this to be given. It's definitely in the attacking phase of play. It can't be a factual overturn because Lawrence Shankland doesn't take control here of the ball, then go up the pitch and immediately score. There's several passes in between. So this would have required the VAR to bring the referee to the monitor here. But in our opinion, this goal should have been disallowed for a punishable handball in the APP, the attacking phase of play.
Let's flip it round then. I'm going to argue against that, even though you think your officials got it wrong. Is that a punishable handball? And what I mean by that, if Lawrence Shankland does that in his own penalty box, do you want a penalty given for that?
So we had lots of debate. It's a good question, Gordon. I was hoping you probably wouldn't ask me it. But there's been a lot of debate in referees about that. And we think the arm is just too far out here and it is a punishable handball. If you look at a clip in recent weeks from Aberdeen-Dundee, when the ball strikes the Dundee player there and there's a penalty awarded, the arm's almost in the same position. But it's a very interesting question because I wonder how many people out with refereeing in football would expect if Lawrence Shankland, the ball would come down for the body or down for the shoulder onto the arm in that position in his own penalty area, if a lot of people would have been comfortable with us saying it's a penalty kick.
I actually think this next clip will help us on the notion of factual overturn or not. Let's take a look. Same stadium and a different club from Edinburgh. Martin Boyle thought he had scored against Rangers on this occasion.
Okay, we're all good. Good reset.
Yeah.
APP.
Yep. Good save. Go. On-field decision is goal.
Checking on-field decision of goal.
Aye. And there's a possible attacker handball by Martin Boyle on the APP.
Okay, thank you. Right, she's clearly onside.
1, 2, 3.
Correct.
Yep, happy.
Happy, yep.
Nicholas, be quiet and move away. James!
So the handball was the one before. Okay, let me see it.
So the control point.
Where he controls it?
Yep.
Yeah, players are claiming a possible handball by Martin Boyle. I don't see it, mate, but VAR's going to check it. And then, obviously, if it is, then I'll overturn the decision.
Bring it back.
If it's not, it's a goal, mate, okay? Can you do me a favour? See if VAR can work. Trying to keep them away just now. We can make, okay?
Yep.
Guys, Tim only. Captain only.
Yep.
To me. Then I'll angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking through the angles, see if there's something clearer.
Yeah, comes off his hand.
If you follow me, I'm going to yellow card you. I'm going to count to 3.
High behind
I'm going to count to 3.
That's the money shot.
Yep.
And he scored immediately after it, so it's a factual overturn, correct? Nick, it's Andrew. I'm recommending a factual overturn, disallow the goal, and give a free kick in between the centre circle and the penalty box, just in the middle of the pitch. He controls the ball with his hand and then scores the goal immediately after.
Okay, Willie, I wonder if this is an example of where VAR is really important, because Nicholas Raskin aside, which is a brilliant spot from him because he's miles away, no one really appeals, no one really thinks this is a handball, everyone thinks it's a goal, but then you see it back and you can hear the comms as well. Why is this a factual overturn compared to what we just witnessed previously?
There's very good comms from the on-field referee to the VAR, because the on-field referee immediately says it's a possible handball and that the defending players are looking for that as well. That's important that we communicate that to the VAR so they know exactly why are people complaining, what is it I need to look at here. There's various angles used and none of them are absolutely conclusive. A couple are clearer than others, but then eventually the VAR uses the opposite camera from behind the opposite goal, and he refers to that as a money shot, and people might say, what's that phrase? We talk to the VARs about that. We talk about in terms of broadcast, in terms of what's shown, what's a money shot. If you're sitting in your living room watching this match, what will convince everybody that this goal should be disallowed, and it's actually the angle from behind the other goal, which is absolutely clear. It's factual. It's very similar to Callum McGregor's at Celtic St Mirren earlier in the season because he directly scores. Again, does Martin Boyle mean this? I don't think so. But because it hits a punishable part of the arm, he runs through, he scores, it's correctly disallowed.
So for the avoidance of doubt though, like the question I asked you previously, that's not going to be a penalty in Martin Boyle's own box, but because he scores, the law's the law and that goal can't stand.
So when people get frustrated because they think, that shouldn't be chalked off, that goal, it's nothing to do with the referee there. That's law. So if we allow that goal, then we're going against what the laws of the game are saying, and it's really important that we get it right. These kind of clips, in my opinion, should absolutely emphasise why we need VAR, because that's so difficult to detect on field. So without VAR, it's 1-0. that goal stands. And I said the same about the Celtic St Mirren clip as well, that goal stands, because these are very, very difficult to catch live and at full speed on the field.
Yeah, we've actually had a few of those, because I think we can take a look at Derek Cornelius away at Livingston. So again, is this pretty similar? Is this a fairly open and shut case for you? Is this the same as Martin Boyle in essence?
Absolutely, exactly the same. Again, absolutely not a deliberate handball. If this happens to a player in their own penalty area, 100% not a penalty. In fact, if a penalty had been given, you would go to on-field review to change it. But again, it's a punishable part of the arm, and we then need to disallow the goal. The Sky cameras really helped us here, because we were worried at this point about the goal post potentially having a problem in the view, but the reverse camera benefits us there. There's also a debate here about offside, so even if it had hit the arm, if it hadn't hit the arm, we would have had to go into an offside check as well. But clear. Also, what I would say is, you can see from the Celtic St Mirren clip, you know, the clip from Rangers Hibs, the clip from Livingston Rangers, there's zero reaction from the player in each of the clips, because the player, now understanding law, expects his goals to be disallowed.
But if he squares it to Bojan Miovski, the goal's good, and that's why the law can be a bit frustrating.
And people complain about the referees at that point, they complain about VAR, but that's nothing to do with us, that's about the law.
An incident between Livingston and Dundee. So it's a home match for Dundee, a penalty awarded, quite a debatable one. Let's take a look.
Off his own player, continue.
Okay, let me check, please.
Let's go, continue,
yes.
let's go.
I've got live.
Let's go.
Can I see back a wee bit before that, sorry?
Yeah. Right, thanks, back
There,
here.
that's it, good. That's okay, that's good. Okay, play, continue through. Penalty. Okay, let go up to the other end, that's fine, I've cleared that. Let's go play the APP.
Yellow
Just
27.
go right the way through it from there, that's okay.
Okay,
check in on-field decision of penalty.
This one?
Yep, that's it.
No,
yep, good. Can I see it?
It's on the line.
Okay, let me see, please.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for point of contact for you.
Point of contact, please.
Point of contact here.
Yep. Play through.
I'm just going to bring in tight.
Slides in, there's nothing with the ball. Put a penalty for me.
Okay.
It was 30 seconds when you gave that. Just FYI. 30 seconds.
Gary, can I bring you in to tell me
David
what you can
Gummy,
see here, please? Can I have the
You want something on?
other angle you gave me, please, first?
Yep.
Yeah, please, this angle. This is the angle I'd like you to see first.
Defender plants his
Still not checked!
I would say the attacker
I've not
initiates the
confirmed it yet,
contact
so
by
we're fine.
putting his leg out.
I agree. So I'm going to recommend an on-field
Do you want it
review.
at full speed?
Big fella, what do you want me to do there?
Full speed.
He needs to go off anyway, need to go off anyway.
Okay. Ross, this is Stephen.
Yep.
I'm going to recommend an on-field review. I'd like you to make the signal and come to the screen, please.
Okay.
I'm going to play a full incident, and I want you to focus on the actions of the defender, and then the actions
Go on,
of the
Steve, I'm not there.
left
Hold on.
leg.
Okay. I am here. Make another angle, please.
Slow it down for him.
Yep, just slow it down for you, please. I'll slow it down now.
I need one from behind it. I get in from behind it.
The high behind it, the other side's your best angle.
Yep.
Here where you can see the action of the attacker.
No, I'm sticking with penalty.
That's it. Stick with the penalty.
Willie, it is quite rare that the referee goes to the monitor and sticks with his initial decision. So let's discuss that. There's an accusation clearly there, or a suggestion that the attacker initiates the contact. Also don't see much reaction though from Danny Wilson, the Livingston defender, to protest. So I wonder what you made of it.
I was in the VAR centre that day watching this match, and my immediate reaction was penalty kick, clear, 100% penalty kick. And also, I don't want to ever encourage players to react differently, because we want players to be respectful and then everybody works together. But what was interesting for me, stoppage time in the game, injury time, a penalty awarded, usually you get some reaction. Zero on-field reaction, including, as you say, Danny Wilson here. The VAR go into a thorough check and start to analyse different angles, and there is an element of the Dundee player who leaves a leg. But I think what we need to look at here is the body shape of both players, Danny Wilson puts the leg out here almost simultaneous, at a simultaneous point as to the Dundee player slightly moves his leg to the left. In my opinion, Gordon, if Danny Wilson stops, doesn't put the leg out, because when he puts the leg out, he doesn't touch a ball. If he just stops and doesn't make any leg movement and the Dundee player commits this action, I think it's a very, very different scenario. And for us here, we can fully support the penalty. What we don't want in this exact scenario is a referee brought to the monitor. We don't think this is clear to say he's wrong in this scenario. If the referee, for a different angle, and another day, had said for him, this is exaggerated contact, this is not a penalty, well, also you can look at the images and justify that. So again, regardless, we don't want the referee brought to the monitor here. But I emphasise again, I think the key point for us here, what makes it more of a penalty than not, is the simultaneous action of the leg going out and the leg slightly going to the side. I think if Danny Wilson holds his ground and doesn't put his leg out at all, I think it's definitely not a penalty. But in this scenario, taking all the elements into account, we think this is a supportable penalty kick and we don't want VAR intervention here.
So it's back to that being subjective ultimately, and what the on-field decision is versus can you see any evidence that contradicts that. However, this time the referee is called to the monitor, and like I said, rightly or wrongly, it is rare that they stick by their own decision. Is that a good thing? Because it shows ultimately that the referee's not swayed more than he should be and he's got courage of his convictions, or has the referee ignored guidance from colleagues who've watched it multiple times?
No, because the referee must always make the final decision. You know, when they go to the monitor, they must look at the images and referee the images in front of them. That's really, really important. And here, what the referee decides is he's going to stick with that decision. What else is probably good from a selling point of view here to help football people understand is that here we've got a huge decision in the game. Go back to a previous show, Hibs St Mirren, something like a similar time. Referee doesn't go to the monitor at Hibs St Mirren when he should have. Referee here, I'm debating whether he should have gone or not, but ultimately the referee's looked at it. He's also looked at the images, decision on field, and looked at the images, and perhaps that also allows people to be content at such a big decision towards a crucial point of the game that the referee's got a chance to look again. But in principle for us, we don't think the referee is required to go to the monitor here. We would have been content to settle with the penalty for the reasons I've said earlier.
OK, let's take a quick look at a similar incident. It's back to that game at Ibrox, and it's a penalty awarded to Hearts. So as you can see, Harry Milne driving into the box. In comes Diomande, down he goes. Are you satisfied that there's contact?
I'm not satisfied there's contact with the first leg, but clearly when you see the referee explains that there's a tripping motion after it, not here, but now, you know, there is contact.
So Diomande's left foot on the trailing leg?
Yes, yep, and then you can see the contact. There's clear contact there. That's what the referee awarded it for. Again, VAR look at the images. They struggle to find a couple of angles to get anything definitive, but that final angle we showed you there is absolutely clear in showing where the contact is. If the referee on the pitch had said it's not enough contact, again, we don't want VAR to re-referee the game here. But the referee's description, the award of a penalty kick, you can't say is wrong here. Let's go back to VAR Review 1, the first episode early in the season. Rangers Dundee, where there was debate about was the contact enough for the Dundee defender. You asked me the question about the Rangers player, the leg going up. But what we were saying is the on-field decision is supported. There's elements to support that.
Is there a frustration for people, though? This idea of a clear and obvious error, it's the very essence of VAR, isn't it? That's way beyond your control or the Scottish FA's control. But really worth remembering that whatever the on-field decision is, it is important. So if that penalty's given on the field, it's unlikely to be overturned. You're looking for that clear and obvious error.
Yeah, 100%. Because otherwise, as I said earlier, you're re-refereeing the match, and that's a problem for us. And I'll be honest, Gordon, if you look at that clip there, Rangers Hearts, and you look at the previous clip, you know, Dundee Livingston, if it had been the opposite decision, we'd probably have been still having the same conversation today because people would debate it otherwise. What I would repeat again, and I said it in the first show, when there's grey areas, subjective areas though, it's understandable VAR not becoming involved. But for us, when we coach our referees, we need to give a concept. We need to give an understanding about what the expected decision is. So I'm saying to you here, at Dundee Livingston, we expect a penalty kick. At Rangers Hearts, because of the secondary contact, we expect a penalty kick. Same in the first review show, Rangers Dundee, there's debate. It would have been supported either way, but we expect a penalty kick.
I'm interested to get your thoughts on this next one, because there are a couple of things going on. Is there a foul? Is it offside? Let's work our way through this one. It's when Dundee United went to Easter Road.
Don't like that. Don't like that. Continue.
Okay, we'll need to
continue.
Okay, checking.
On-field decision, offside.
Okay, check it. Okay, checking. On-field decision, offside. Okay.
Offside.
Sorry, John.
Just play it from here.
Right, there is no attacking touch there. So first of all, in terms of the on-field decision being offside, there is no attacking touch. There's no touch for the Hibs player. Can I just see from behind the goals if there is one?
I've got one from high behind right.
There's definitely no touch from the player. Agreed?
I agree with that.
So it's not offside. Now, play it through in its entirety there. Okay, so that's fine. So that's fine. Now I need to make a decision, Sean, on whether we consider this to be a free kick, okay? So I want to look at this tackle.
Yep.
You can update me on that, Sean. You don't need to be watching this. So, can I get something a bit wider, mate, if I look at this? So I don't believe that Josh Mulligan has committed an offence there. I think Josh Mulligan stands. I think that Dundee United player makes an attempt to move his foot, kicks the back of the Hibs player, the ball's there. I don't see an infringement there, Sean. In this case,
you said.
Okay. So.
Do you want me to play it through to the finish?
Yeah. So I'm going to have to tell him.
Goal.
And it's a factual change of decision to award the goal. Are you happy with that?
I agree.
Okay, Dan. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to recommend a factual overturn here. So it's not offside. You should award the goal. So make the TV signal and award the goal.
Quite a lot going on there, Willie, and in fairness, the communication's very good. We're taking through it step by step. Are you happy with all of those steps and the way that progressed?
Ultimately, we would prefer the decision correct on field. You know, I keep saying that so that people don't think we're relying on VAR. We're coaching our referees and our assistant referees how to catch a decision like this on field, which is really, really important. It's difficult for the on-field team because they need to contest with an offside decision and also whether there's a foul against the Hibs attacker on the Dundee United defender here. I can understand why they've given offside. We talked at a meeting recently about how we can improve it, get a clear focus on who plays the ball. But I don't think anybody live on the pitch at fast speed expects that to be a defender pass. And also, there's a debate here, is this a foul or not? We have been speaking about high thresholds, you know, about disallowing goals. This is contact. This is not a foul for us. I don't think football people would expect a foul. I don't think they would accept a foul here either. So it's really good work from the VAR team to come to the conclusion it's a defender who plays the ball back. It's not a foul. And again, we correctly overturn it. Again, this game's operational without VAR. You know, we have an offside there, which is completely inaccurate. It's 100% not offside. It's not possible because it's actually the defender who plays the ball back the way.
OK, let's just finish by tidying up one or two other incidents. I know you're keen to talk to us about the position of your referees on the field. This is one between Dundee and Motherwell. It ends in a red card for Jan Danda. So I think there was an appeal on this one as well. You can see him sliding in. What are your thoughts?
We're just really happy with the focus of the referee and the positioning, you know, really accurate. Fourth official looking as well, focused. You can see him just in the picture here. You can also see the referee, perfect view, almost crouching there to get a real focus in the point of contact. Studs onto the shin. We expect a red card to be given here on the pitch. I know you said that Dundee appealed it and they lost the appeal, but regardless of whether that appeal was won or lost, this is a clear red card for us for serious foul play.
You can't argue with the contact, I won't even pretend to, but does it have the necessary force, that one?
There will be cases where we need to talk about force and impact, you know, what does that look like? But when you put studs right through the shin, you know, you go to ground like that, you run the risk. And, you know, we would rather in this scenario a red card was given than a yellow card. If a yellow card's given, you start to talk about force and whatever. But to be honest here, Gordon, if a yellow card had been given, we expect a VAR intervention.
OK, another one on referee's position then. It was that game again in Livingston for the visit of Rangers. Now, eventually a penalty's given as Nico Raskin goes down, felt his shirt was pulled. Talk us through this one.
Before I even talk about the referee's position here, it's a really good check because there's a shut pull that we need to check. The VAR immediately check that. When the VAR goes into the check to look at the shut pull, the AVAR also draws his attention to the challenge in the edge of the box because we need to make sure it's not a red card tackle. The referee correctly gave a yellow card and it is a yellow card that's not red. But the referee's position is, very difficult to see there because he's trying to look through a ruck of players. It's not easy. Again, it's the benefit of VAR. There's a chance to look again. So it's really, really important. We've asked the referees now to think about this D in the edge of the penalty area, and to start to use that as a starting point to get dynamic, to look, to move as the ball's coming in, because here it's almost impossible for the referee to detect this. This is a very good intervention. Ball clearly going to the dropping zone, clear impact, clear shut pull, exactly what we said in the pre-season guidelines. I would say here, I said it pre-season, and I'll say again in this show, this is where we need players to help us. Players take a huge risk when they commit this type of offence. And if VAR's in operation, put yourself in the VAR and the AVAR's seat. They're seeing an image here, shut extended for the body, ball going to that zone, clear impact. It's very, very difficult for them to do anything there other than recommend an on-field review. So not only is it a penalty, the player also receives a yellow card. So lots said about the referee position, but lots said as well about a good check and also checking a tackle, even though you've awarded a penalty.
So just a reminder, if that ball goes way deep to the back post, it's not necessarily going to be a penalty. It's the fact that Raskin looks like he may well get on the end of it if his shot isn't pulled. That's the key consideration.
Your question's really good because we're not saying 100% it won't be given. There'll be cases where something is so blatant it's hard to ignore. But what's really clear for us here is this is impactful in the area the ball's dropping it. Again, what's easier to explain here? Why you'd never awarded a penalty or why you've gone to the monitor and awarded a penalty. I would imagine most people in football looking at that image would expect a penalty kick to be awarded.
Take into consideration how easily, to quote that the player goes down, because that would be one thing that we maybe do argue about when these instances happen.
Yeah, we've been able to see clips this season where there's not a prolonged hold, it's a glancing hold and the player suddenly goes down. But I go back to my original point, please don't take the risk. It's not the referees that are shut pulling, it's not the VAR that's shut pulling, it's the players, but we're the people who then need to make the accurate decision.
Well, thanks as always to Willie Collum. Always good to have his insight and explanations, even if we don't agree on all the decisions. That brings to a close the latest instalment of the Scottish Football VAR Review. We'll see you next time.